Hey everybody, it's Susan, and welcome back to another video. So glad you could make it. And today I'm going to be showing you how I schedule my holiday meal so everything comes out at the same time and everything is nice and warm when we sit down and get ready to eat. Hey everybody, it's Susan here, and whenever I started my holiday favorites recipe, I told you that I would give you a time frame for the day of Thanksgiving, or a time schedule for the day of Thanksgiving, so you could do all of your favorite recipes and they come out at the same time, so you won't have some that are hot and some that are cold, and show you some of the tips and tricks that I do on Thanksgiving to make sure that everything is good and warm at the same time, so when we sit down to eat, it's all ready to go. I have a schedule that I use each year that I draw up. If I add additional dishes, I add it to it, but let me show you how I do not only my recipe binder, but my holiday section in my recipe binder, which starts off with my time schedule. So come on along, let me show you how I get it all done for Thanksgiving. And guys, if you've seen any of my videos, especially my cooking videos, the very beginning of the video, you will see my recipe binder. This binder is something that I started years and years ago, and it has different sections in it, divided off with the dividers. And if you pull everything back, the red binder at the end is what has all of my holiday favorites. Now, I am going to kind of show you how I go about planning my time to make sure that everything is done at the same time so everything is warm. Now, I do keep all of my favorite holiday recipes back here in the back. There's the sweet potato casserole. That way everything's together. I don't have to go rummaging or trying to find things for all of my holiday goodies that I bake, my dips that I make, all of that is right here in my binder with all of my little notes and stuff on how to do things. But let me go ahead and let's get started on time frames for each one. Now, whenever it comes to making up a schedule for how you cook and when you cook, everybody's different depending on what they're making. I just got a plain sheet of paper and wrote it down. But if you go to Printabulls, they have multiple Thanksgiving cooking schedules that you can choose from, depending on what you like and how you like it, to help you manage your time to where everything can get done on a timely basis for you. I'm just showing you four of the ones they have up. Five of the ones they have up with the different time frames. And of course, some of them do have cooking tips and notes and stuff on them. That way you can make your own sheet like this one, nice and neat and pretty. Put it in your clear binder. That way you've got it from year to year, and all you have to do is add additional stuff each year. But Printabulls is the website that I love to use to print off things. It also has different type of Thanksgiving games, place cards, all kinds of stuff Thanksgiving if you go on the link, and I'll go ahead and show you that right now. And here is the Printabulls website. Look at the logo. It's adorable. Press the holiday button and then choose your holiday. Thanksgiving is what we're going into now, and it brings up a lot of good things like Thanksgiving bingo, coloring pages for Thanksgiving, word searches, and Thanksgiving cards, and place cards. And then you will get down to the Thanksgiving cooking schedules. Just push on it, and then it will bring up all of the different cooking schedules that you can see. Just keep scrolling down, and you can choose whichever one that you think you like the best. Press on it, and it will bring it up for you to print off on your printer. And let's get down in depth into what I make and how often I make it. Okay, the day before Thanksgiving, you need to try to do as many things as you can ahead of time. My pecan pies, my deviled eggs, my pumpkin pies, my spinach dip, my pineapple dip, my broccoli salad, banana pudding. It's all what I do the Wednesday before Thanksgiving. That way it's in the fridge or somewhere being stored. That way I don't have to worry about it. It's done and over with, because we do have a large spread at Thanksgiving. I will try to record as much of it as I can, because usually I'm real busy making food. That way you can kind of see what kind of spread we wind up having. Now, for Thanksgiving, I do a turkey and a ham. The turkey is $3.25 at 4 hours, and the ham is 2 hours at $3.25. So I start the turkey at 4 o'clock. No, excuse me. I start the turkey at 8 o'clock. And then at 10 o'clock, I add the ham. So that way I've got everything done by 12 o'clock, because usually we eat at 1. You can adjust your time depending on when you usually eat, but usually we eat around 1 o'clock. Sometimes we eat at 3. It just depends on when the baby's napping and all that good stuff. So now at 11:45, as you can see, I've got my dressing right here. It takes me 30 minutes to prep, and it's 35-minute cook time. So I want to start preparing my dressing at 11:45 so I can put it in the oven at 12:15. So as soon as the turkey and ham get done, I change the degrees of the oven to 350. That way it can start heating up, and I start making my different preps. And as you can see right here is sweet potatoes. I need to start it at 11:30 because it takes 30 minutes of prep and it cooks for 40 minutes. So this will need to go in the oven at 12 o'clock. My baked mac and cheese. Start the prep for it at 11:45. I usually go ahead and boil the noodles and just drain them and let them set while everything's cooking. And then it takes 30 minutes to prep and 30 minutes to cook. So I like to get the mac and cheese in at 12:15. My biscuits, 15 minutes to prep. And I usually start that prep at 12:30. 13 minutes to cook. 12:45 is whenever I put it in the oven, because 15 minutes by 1 o'clock, they're nice and hot. And then, of course, my green beans takes 5 minutes to prep. So I start it around 12 o'clock, and it cooks for 30 minutes. So I basically put it on the oven top at 12 o'clock. And, of course, my gravy with turkey drippings is about 15 minutes, because I get the turkey drippings out of the pan, put it into my my turkey gravy that I bought in the can, and that usually starts up at about 12:50. That's the last thing. I just put it on the oven, let it warm up. That way it can be warm and still bubbly when everybody gets here. Now, once the baked mac, the sweet potatoes, the dressing are done, I usually put them in my microwave to keep warm, because it's greatly insulated. And when you put a lot of warm items in here, they will stay warm for quite a while, and you don't have to worry about them getting cold. Now, another thing I know that you're thinking is, what about the ham and turkey? You're going to get them out at 12 o'clock, and then how are they going to stay warm? Well, I put them on towels. I put the pans on towels, and then wrap 2 additional towels over the top of each of them, because they're both in black and white spotted pan, baking pan, or in another baking dish that has aluminum foil over top. So I basically bundle them up like a baby. That way they stay warm for up to an hour or 2 after they come out of the oven, because I don't have any place else to put them that's big enough. But that's how I do my turkey and ham. That's how I do my dressing, gravy, all my stuff. Now, at Christmas, I don't do a turkey. I still do my ham and my prime rib. Now, let me tell you my secret of my prime rib. Oh, yeah, and I do chicken and dumplings. So for my prime rib, I do the 500 degrees for 5 minutes. 5 minutes for each pound. And then you turn the oven off and you let it store in the oven for 2 hours unopened. Now, usually I will do this early in the morning, like 6 o'clock. Get it in at 500 for 5 minutes, and then let it turn off and stay in the oven, because by the time you get close to 8, or the time I need to go ahead and start preheating the oven, it's about time to take it out. And I do something to keep it warm, because I cannot stand prime rib that's not warm. I put it in my crock pot. I put it in my crock pot. I've usually deboned the prime rib, which you'll see if I can wind up getting it video recorded. Debone the prime rib and put the bones on the bottom. That way they're what's sitting on the bottom of the pie, on the bottom of the pan. And then whenever they come out of the oven, again, that's what I put on the bottom of the crock pot. I put any juices that came out of the ribs while they were cooking in the bottom of the crock pot, and I just turn them on warm. That way they will stay warm, and it doesn't cook them. It just keeps them warm. That way whenever we slice it up, it's not cold. Because with this method, you're pulling it out, before everything else is done. And I wanted to make sure that it would stay warm. So that is a little trick that I do that works very well for prime rib if you do it at the 500 degrees for 5 minutes per pound like I do. So that's how I work my prime rib in for Christmas. Now for my chicken and dumplings, I make them in the crock pot also. I go ahead and do chicken and dumplings like I would normally do in my pan. But I put them in my large crock pot and go ahead and put the little pieces of my biscuits in. If you've seen the recipe, you know I've got the chicken and dumpling recipe, which I will link it below. Then I will put it into the crock pot while it is on low, and it will cook for up to an hour to 2 hours in the crock pot. And believe it or not, I actually spread it out to where I put half the dumplings in at one time, half the dumplings in at another, and it turns out perfectly. So I've got that I do in the crock pot also for Christmas. But of course, we're talking Thanksgiving right now. But hopefully this breakdown will help you to time out how you prepare your items for Thanksgiving so that I'll get done at the same time. And I don't see one that has like a breakdown for cooking time and not. So I'm going to see if I can attach this to one of these sheets so that way you can see it a little bit better. No, because no. So basically, if you make out your plan, make sure that the middle column right here is the prep time, how much time it takes you to make it, which trust me, after you make it for years, you know. And then, of course, you need to know your cook times. That way you can be able to put a time at what time to start for the prep, what time to put them in the oven, and all of these are at 350 degrees. Which is what you changed it to right here. So hopefully this has been helpful on getting you better organized as far as your time schedule for getting everything done at the same time. Each thing takes a little bit different to prep. Each thing takes a little bit different time to cook. But at least with this, I know, at 12 o'clock, my sweet potatoes need to be in the oven because they take 40 minutes. At 12:15, I need to go ahead and get my baked mac and cheese in and my dressing in, which is usually sitting on standby, ready to go whenever that hits. At 12 o'clock, my green beans need to go on the oven top. They're one of the only things I cook on top of the oven along with my gravy. At 12:45, I need to make sure my biscuits are ready to roll in. And then everything will basically come out and be done right around 1 o'clock. And of course, for the baked mac and cheese, sweet potatoes, and dressing, I put those in the microwave to keep warm. The turkey and ham are bundled like a baby over to the side, keep them warm. So that way everything gets done at the same time, everything's nice and warm, you break it all out, and it's ready to eat. If you have any questions, you can comment me, and I will help answer. If you need help making out your time frame, all you got to do is send me a message either in Instagram or via email, and I've got that listed below, and I can help you make your own time frame depending on how much time it takes. All I need you to do is list the items that you have, list kind of the degree that you cook them at, and guesstimate on how long it takes you to make each item and how long each item needs to cook. That way we can come up with a plan to make sure that everything is done at the same time. But I'm here to help. I'm offering up for anybody who would like me to help. That, just contact me. We will get this done together. I have actually written it out a little bit easier to understand. You can see each item, the temp that they need to be cooked at, the prep time start that they need to be started, if there is any prep, the prep time, how long it takes to prep the item, the cooking time, which is the time it needs to go in the oven or on the stovetop, and then the cooking duration, which is either hours or minutes, whatever. That way you can see exactly how everything comes together, what times they get started prepping, what times they go into the oven, and how long it takes for each item to cook. So all of this can be prepared and finish up at 1 o'clock. And this is the simplified version of what I showed earlier. So you could kind of see it a little easier than my old version that had everything kind of scrunched together. I hope that you've enjoyed today's video, and I hope I can help you to get yourself on a timeline or get yourself on a cooking schedule for Thanksgiving so everything gets done at the same time. I know this sounds a little complex. It's not. It's actually very simple. And once you make this timeline, you can have it for years to come. I made this timeline, 10 years ago, and I still stick to it today. As I've added a few things to the timeline. That way, you can keep up with what you're doing now, maybe what you didn't do like last year or the year before, and make sure that you get everything done in a timely manner to make it smoother on Thanksgiving Day. You aren't thinking, do I need to do this? Do I need to put that there? When do I need to start this? I did that for years, and I said there's got to be a better way. And this is what I came up with. And go to Printabulls. They have a lot of good printing timelines that you could use. Like I said, lots of good Thanksgiving items as far as games and place cards, that kind of thing that you can print off on your printer and then utilize for your Thanksgiving. And no, this is not sponsored by them. I just love their website. I use their calendars for my scheduling of my meals now. And I use a lot of their printables just on a daily basis. Their to-do list, all of them. They have multiple ones to choose from, and all you got to do is print them out, and they're free. I mean, amazing, free. So, contact me if you'd like me to help you to make a schedule of your own. I do not mind. In fact, I love it. That's the kind of stuff that I like doing. I'm organized like that. But I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you learned a little bit of something from the video. Definitely hope that you utilize it to make your Thanksgiving easier for you to figure out when everything needs to be done. And until next time, have a great week. Please like, subscribe, follow, comment, share, and ring that bell so you don't miss any of the upcoming videos.